A very significant trend has developed over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to explain to you how significant this trend is after I show you the trend of 3 world leaders in the last 2 weeks visiting the gravesite of the great rabbi and Jewish leader, the Lubavitcher Rebbe's gravesite, where thousands and thousands of people visit on a daily and weekly basis. The first of them was on September 22nd, when the Argentinian president, Javier Milei, visited the Lubavitcher Rebbe's grave. This was actually the 4th visit that he paid to pray at the Lubavitcher Rebbe's grave. Let's watch this very brief clip together. Here you can see him in the leather jacket, walking towards the Rebbe's grave. And the grave, of course, is inside that structure. And then we saw just 2 days later that the Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama visited the Rebbe's grave as well. Let's here's a picture of him writing a letter, which is customary to do before you go into the Rebbe's grave. You actually write a personal letter asking the Rebbe to beseech God on high on behalf of you and all of those requests that you put into the letter. And of course, most notably, the most notable visit just happened today. And it's most notable because of who it was, the former president of the United States, the leader of the world. And it was also a visit that took place today on October 7th, a very, very significant day to the Jewish community, of course, but also really to all of the free world that is realizing that Israel is actually fighting for the freedom of the entire world right now. Let's watch this clip of President Trump in his visit to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's gravesite. Here he's taking out his personal letter that he is going to now read, which he wrote asking the Rebbe to pray to God on his behalf. And there, as customary, we rip the note in half, the letter in half, and then we drop it into the middle area there, where all of the hundreds of thousands of notes lay. He's closing his eyes in prayer. In a moment, you'll see him do a ritual which is customary when we visit a grave, in that we put a stone on the top of the gravestone, which is an honor to the person, being that it shows that there are people who actually visit this grave. So we're going to see President Trump do that in just a moment.
Yeah, can I take that? Would you like me to sign this? I love that. Thank you. We'll do that.
I believe he's holding a book of Psalms that was gifted to him, a leather-bound book of Psalms, and posters of the hostages is what is my impression is he's holding. And now they're giving him the stone, and you'll see him placed it on top of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's tombstone in just a moment. There he steps over and he places it right on top.
Happy New Year to you.
Now he steps out of the Ohel. And here's why this is so significant. This is so significant because we see how world leaders who are not Jewish appreciate and value a righteous Jew, and they appreciate and value that their source of blessing comes from this righteous Jew, that they will go to this place and they will pray because they know it is a source of blessing. This is very significant. Of course, for the Jewish people, it's significant. It's significant for the world as well, as I'll explain in just a moment. When a person, especially a leader, a world leader, as we've just seen these three world leaders come to the grave of a man who's deceased. He's not living, but they understand that there is a connection here, and this is a source of blessing. And it's a demonstration clearly that they believe in God. The world is in a much better place, because it's really not possible to have morality without belief in God. And because without belief in God, we make up our morality. And that's when things become very erratic and very chaotic. And that's why when our country follows a belief that there is a God, then we have stability to a large extent in our value system. And that's why it's so important for the world to see our leaders going to places of faith and praying. And most significantly, especially as today is October 7th, all three of these leaders, as men who believe in God, are staunch supporters of Israel. They are unapologetic. They've all spoken openly, whether it was in the UN or in other places, fully supporting Israel, fully supporting the Jewish people, having the clarity of mind to know the difference between people who are defending themselves from terrorists and those who are the terrorists. And this is very important for the entire free world, because if we want to stop the evil, which is encroaching closer and closer on the Western world, then we must fully support Israel. So it's been a great 2 weeks to see this happen, and God willing, we'll see more world leaders stopping by the Lubavitcher Rebbe's graveside, known as the Ohel Chabad, in order to pray. And no question that the Lubavitcher Rebbe is interceding on their behalf on high, and will inspire them in even better directions than they are already in, and in making the proper choices as world leaders.